Hello, how are you?
I'm good, Nita. Yeah, enjoying the sun on the Sunday. So I think it's a beautiful day. So no, I'm doing really good. How are you?
I'm good too. It's really nice to have you here joining me.
Then again, hold it and release, and then you're ready to go.
I need that. So let's jump into it directly. So tell me about your background, maybe your educational background, where are you from, and what was your previous experience?
Ooh, so going very back, where am I from? So I'm from a suburb of Berlin, so it's a little bit south of Berlin. I just grew up in a, yeah, I would say very protected family environment. But also there, I already like always got kind of from my parents to like be independent and do like things on your own. So they're also both, yeah, self-employed,
Hmm.
and therefore this being independent really also often came in like being raised by them. And yeah, I went to school in my hometown. But I always like towards the end of school, like I always find it like computers fascinating. I find
Hmm.
it like computer science fascinating. I thought it was always cool to just have a laptop and build something that already people can use. And yeah, I mean, I started with building websites during my high school years. And actually, funny thing, I just talked about it yesterday with my parents because we kind of reflected on some parts of our lives. And the thought came to mind that I really went on my 18th birthday. So when I
Hmm.
was finally an adult, I went to the company registration in my village, and I registered my first company there actually on my 18th
Wow.
birthday because I really wanted to be an entrepreneur. It's really something I already dreamed about when I was 15, 16. And yeah, I mean, this company, it's just a like one person business. It wasn't like
Hmm.
a huge thing, but what I wanted to do with it is I wanted to write my own invoices for the websites I built for family and friends.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's kind of what I did then during my last high school years. And then yeah, I wanted to also pursue it academically, the computer science career. So I yeah, started studying at HBI,
Hmm.
which is a university in Potsdam, just outside of Berlin, where they teach practical computer science. Yeah, and that's what I did 2017 until 20 or 21, I'm not sure. I did my bachelor's there, just tried to learn as much as possible. And also during my bachelor's, I already like created, it wasn't like a real business, but it was also a bigger project with a good friend of mine, Roman,
Hmm.
who's also my co-founder now. Who yeah, we together built like a bigger project where people were able to upload and sell self-produced beats and audio
Hmm.
tracks. So yeah, we kind of thought of ourselves at the time, oh, we are building a better version of SoundCloud,
Hmm.
which is naive to think at the time, but we also had just fun building the project, and we spent a lot of nights just at his place, hacking through the night. Yeah, and this spirit never went away. So I also, after my bachelor's, I first thought I want to found something
Hmm.
immediately, but I also didn't have an idea or didn't know what to do. So yeah, what I did was I went into university again, started my master's. So I did again IT systems engineering, so the practical software engineering at HBI for my master's. Yeah, but during the master, I always tried to keep an open eye. Did some extra curriculum activities to figure out if I can like pursue a project also in my free time to build a startup. And build something I'm passionate about. And yeah, then also after the first 2 semesters in my masters, I yeah went on and tried to create my first startup with my ex co-founder Sophia.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if we talk about this later a little bit, but was just a HR tech startup, but also at this time, not at this time, but at a later point, we realized, okay, maybe it's not the right product for us as founders. We lost a little bit, the passion. We also lost a little bit, the side of the user and the market environment just shifted regarding the idea. But yeah, and now I'm at Loop. So this also happened very accidentally. No, not accidentally, but some doors just open where the other doors close. And
Mm-hmm.
this was also how it happened with Loop, that I, kind of closed the door with Joyce and tried to figure out, okay, what do I want to do next? And then Chris appeared, who was asking me if, this could be something, this project that they were building would be something I'm interested in and would maybe want to join. And that's what I did in July 24. And since then, I've not regretted that decision. So, yeah.
Amazing. I think you already answered my second question, which was like, how did you decided to be a founder? I think you are a born founder because your parents are also entrepreneurs and you are also in that path. And you started your own company at the age of 18, which I didn't know. So that's
Yeah.
amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing to hear. My second question would be like, what, how do you think is the role of a tech founder in a founding team versus someone who gets hired for building all the tech stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on what kind of startup you are building.
Mm-hmm.
But since I think we are talking about very technical startups,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I'm interested in, I would ask about that, answer about that. So I would say you are kind of born to fail if you just hire a CTO, give him maybe a minority of shares, and think he will just put all his time and effort in it, to also pursue your dream of whatever startup idea you put in your mind. So I really think having a CTO and really having that person invested as much as anyone else is very crucial, because ideas come and go every
Mm-hmm.
day. You pivot anyway, like whatever idea you start with and you think this is something you will be working on in 5 years, forget it. No way. And you need a person that is fully invested, to, also be there in tough times when ideas pivot, when ideas shift. And this only works if they also believe in what they are building and bring in their own ideas, because also non-technical founders can always, when they want to build a tech product, they can always think in a very scope way about how their idea comes to life and how the solution is built. They maybe understand the problem and by looking at the market know, okay, what kind of tech can I build? But if the tech founder doesn't really see that and doesn't really take the responsibility, I believe you are bound, you are ready to fail. Yeah. So that's why I think it's very essential.
Mm-hmm. And like, what do you think about building a product first and then launching it as your first thing outside and talking to people or talking to the customers? Or the second way is to just talk to customers and then understand what their problem is and then start building the product. So, as a tech founder, what do you prefer more?
Um, so I think where I would draw the line between the two approaches that you just made is really also, is it a B2C company or is it a
Mm-hmm.
B2B company? Because the first thing that you mentioned, and you want to apply this to B2B, no way it's gonna work. My opinion, my honest opinion. In the B2C, obviously, if you still talk to friends and whatever, it can work if you have a good understanding of what really the end user wants. I mean, they often don't know what they want anyway, but at least if you understand the problem and you can have this product-led growth and try to build something, might work. But I really prefer the second option. I mean, so far I've only created B2B projects, so that's why this is also something I have more experience in. And B2C is, in my opinion, more magic, and more luck involved. And sure, you can also, I mean, you can always create the luck by just being thorough, being, um, yeah, just also pushing through hard times and whatever. But I prefer the second option of you talk to users, you figure out their problems, you try to test certain ideas, and then you incrementally improve and figure out if you, yeah, can first achieve problem solution fit. So figure out a good solution to their problem that is also scalable. And then in the next step, figure out a product market fit. And if you can really, yeah, put your product on the market and people just want to buy it because it's so great.
Yeah, yeah, I think that makes sense because like when I was a founder and I knew the coding, so it was very hard for me to stop coding and just ask customers first what they want. And I think, as you said, like it's important to ask customer first what they want and then build it because otherwise you will need to have a lot of free work. That's also
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, I think that's where every technical person also has their struggles.
Mm-hmm.
Also myself. I mean, I at least, I mean, I know all the theory, or as good as, like, maybe from my standpoint I can know it. I know how to do it, and I've went through like design thinking school and talking to users and how to interview and how to really figure out their pain point before just building a solution. But obviously, every technical person is also excited to just get going and just build and want to create something. And then you sometimes dive too deep because it's just something you also are technically interested to just build. But yeah, you should never lose sight. And even if you are this kind of person, maybe have another person that you can talk to that understands more the user side and brings that in every discussion that you both have, to yeah, not lose sight of the users.
Yeah, I think that's very important to have one more person who is having a check at least, saying that okay, I think this is fine or this is needed or something like that. I think that completely makes sense. And
Yeah.
since you have been founder more than once, so what are your struggles as a tech founder, which have you have seen? Maybe you can share some experience.
um Meaning like day-to-day struggles, or
Just some overview things that you remember that you struggled as a first time founder or something.
I mean, I, I would say that every day are like filled with struggles, but I wouldn't sometimes pursue them as struggles. It's just challenges.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a very optimistic person. I don't know if you can already tell by just hearing me. But yeah, I try to look at the bright side of things usually. Sometimes that's easier than in other days. So, I mean, struggles, I would say also as a technical founder is if you build something, as we said before, and
Mm-hmm.
you think this is something that people would like, and then you test it with users and they're like, what should I do with this? This is far away from my reality. What are we even doing? And it's hard to accept neglect, this neglection.
Rejections.
I'm not sure. Yeah, rejection. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. And I think, yeah, rejections are the hardest part of founding, and you really have to go through rejections. And that's about rejections about the tech that you build, the product that you build, but also then, since founding is also about selling yourself, selling your company and selling what you are building, and you will get rejected. People don't fucking care. People just don't care about you, as much as you might also think sometimes, but they just don't care. And it's just tough to push through this sometimes, to through this rejection. But this is where you need to find also motivation and, okay, like what kind of mini wins can I have in there, and what kind of things are still good for me to figure out while being rejected. And yeah, then it's just an opportunity to learn, and that's what I like to do. I mean, I'm still young. I can still learn a lot. I'm not at the end of my career, and I'm not stubborn. I'm still flexible in my thoughts. So that's what I try to get out of that, to just learn and do it better the next time.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a very good suggestion for sure for everyone who's thinking about joining a company or starting their own company. So, my question is also like a lot of people who are working in a company or who are looking for more job security and money. So, for them and for you who is like has tried a company already, you're in the second company. So, what difference do you see being a founder or maybe who is working in a company? So, what would you suggest to them if they want to join a startup or start a startup?
Okay, many things. Um, First of all, it's really it's tough. So you really have to want to do it. You have to have this urge of, okay, I might struggle for the first month, but not month, it's more years. And it's the honest truth. I mean, maybe some people view founding as this bright thing. If you look at, I don't know, sometimes Silicon Valley and you read the stories, but you always read the good parts. Most people don't share also the downside that it has. But if you enjoy a roller coaster and if you enjoy the journey of just having the freedom to do whatever the fuck you want,
Mm-hmm.
sorry for my language, but it's the thing, like, if you just want, like, have this urge of building something where no one puts you in a box and tells you what to do,
Mm-hmm.
but you just want to create something, and this is something you really, yeah, are looking for in also a job. And then you can find the good parts in the journey and the good parts of the roller coaster, because it's ups and downs, and you will feel hyped in so many moments where you think, okay, I'm flying, we are going to the moon, but the next day it might look exactly the opposite. And that's something where you just have to enjoy this part, and you don't really know if you enjoy it if you tried it out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why what I would also say, if you have the urge to build something, but you are in a job, maybe test out on the weekend just to
Mm-hmm.
figure out, talk to people, just figure out if this is really a problem that you also, like, just from a passion point of view, would want to solve and want to work on. And if you really realize, okay, you also spend your weekends on it because it's just fun, you just like to do it, that's maybe a moment where you have to think, okay, do I also want to push through the hard times and just like commit to it fully? Do I have also, yeah, maybe like the financial support to also get going for a couple of months? I mean, there are good programs like scholarships, or whatever, but until you get the first investment, it will take some time. So you definitely also have to figure out, okay, can I financially support myself, or through my family or whatever, through programs that are funded by also governmental authorities. Yeah, and then I think just try it. That's at least how I view it. Just dive in it if you already love what you're doing in your free time.
Yeah, yeah. I think I think I agree to it for sure because some people just they just stop their job and then just join the company and then they struggle a bit because of the uncertain situations there. But I think it's a good idea to start with some projects in the weekend and then go for it full time if they really like it. Makes sense.
Yeah, and I mean that is for people that already like have a stable job maybe, and are also, I mean, if you get a salary and you kind of adjust your lifestyle to it at some point, you yeah, are used to that. But it's different for people that come from university, and for people that come from university, I would say, even if you think you don't know enough, or you yeah, unsure if you really want to do it, just test it out. Then if you really have low costs, I think it's also the greatest learning experience that you can have for yourself and also for your career, to just test it out and just build something with friends, with whomever you have around that you think can be something. And then, yeah, just test out different ideas and try to keep an open mind for opportunities that come. Because, yeah, if you just show up and try it out, good things come to you. That's what I can definitely say.
What about your company and what do you do uh, in Loop Systems?
Okay, so my role also in systems already shifted. So what
Hmm.
we're in general doing is that we help um, SMEs, but not like very small SMEs, but SMEs with more than 250 employees, with compliance topics. We're focused in the past on sustainability compliance and really reducing bureaucratic hurdles and reporting standards through the help of AI, and really automating this reporting process with the help of AI. And yeah, this is something that we help these yeah, rather German, but also in the EU, medium-sized enterprises with. And we focused on sustainability first, but let's see what comes next.
Hmm. That's
And my role in
Mhm.
there is, sorry, that I joined the team as a technical founder, but I also brought in with me my friend from my bachelor studies, Roman, and we have done multiple projects already together. And I just know he is the better CTO of the two of us, so that's why I also shifted more into this product strategy and also some more operational things, and made room for him to also unfold as a CTO. And now I'm kind of, yeah, in this position of like managing product, also design, and going there in exchanges with users. But also, I mean, since a startup founder at the beginning, if you're a small team, has to do everything. Obviously, I'm also involved in funding, hiring, and all these kind of topics.
Hmm. Wow, that's a lot of things. Okay, so what keeps you motivated to work as a founder or in Loop, I would say. Yeah.
So I tend to answer this question different to what I used to, but nowadays I think two things really keep me motivated.
Mm-hmm.
And one is to work on something like with my own ownership, as I said before, to work on a project where no one is telling me, ah, you have to do this or that. Because I also worked in a job and sometimes I felt like, okay, why are we even doing this? This doesn't make sense for me. So I also want to make this assessment myself, and also in exchanges, obviously, with the rest of the team, but work on something that I think has a certain impact. Doesn't have to have like an impact on like the entire world or whatever. It can also have an impact on just like a small group of people, just a small community or whatever, but it has in some way like a positive impact on some kind of people, and build something there that I feel this ownership in, and yeah, where I, like, can influence the impact. And then the second, that really keeps me motivated, is a team of people that I like to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And they're especially like, it's just fun and exciting if you have like interesting and smart people in the room, and you sit at the desk and you figure out how you want to create this impact. So also both two things go hand in hand. But having this team of people and working on this one bigger, yeah, vision, but I don't like always the term in startups, this vision, but working towards one goal. And
Mm-hmm.
this is making this company in a way work and building a product that can have this positive impact, because it will take time also until you have a positive impact, because tech products also take some time at least. And you will need to push through this time and also the hard times, as we discussed before. But yeah, this keeps me motivated.
Yeah, that sounds really amazing
One thing
for sure.
also first, because what shouldn't keep you motivated, and I think that also keeps some people at the beginning motivated, and
Hmm.
it's also something, I mean, maybe I was blinded by at the beginning, but don't be motivated by money because wow, maybe there's an exit in 10 years, but it's likely that it's not.
Yeah.
And if you are motivated by money, you will stop very quickly when the first tough thing arrives. And until you get investment and also you pay yourself salary, you are better off when it comes to money in other parts of career.
Hmm.
Yes, it can have a very financial outcome at the end if you like if pieces really line with each other and a lot of things work out. But please don't be motivated by that. It's in my opinion not the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I think a startup has a lot of risks, so you never know if it could fly or it could doom. So that's true. But being optimistic is good. That's true.
Yes.
Cool. So coming back to my last question to you. So if someone want to start their own company or want to join someone, but they are looking for a co-founder who is a business person. So what kind of things would you see or would you search in a co-founder?
And a business co-founder, um, like obviously expertise and knowledge is something you should also look out to. I mean, is it just a person that talks, or is it also a person that can do things? Um, then I think the first check mark should be, do I like this person? Do I want to spend more time with this person than with my partner, my family, whatever? You are going to marry this person for many years to come. And if you don't like that person, you get easily frustrated by that person and you just don't have a good way of communication. Yeah, this I think is not going to work. So you should really also not dive into it directly, but maybe have a test project with that person and
Hmm.
just figure out, are you working in a well way together? So does your communication with each other work? Yeah, can you even after fights look into the other person's eyes and be like, should we hug it out, for example?
Yeah.
Should we just have a hug and be friends again? And because arguments will come, and I mean, arguments are healthy if you agree on everything. This is also unhealthy. So everyone brings their own perspective in it, and sometimes these can get in heated discussions, but it shouldn't get personal, and
Hmm.
it should still stay professional. So this is definitely what I would say. Yeah, and then also, is this person really someone that shows up and kind of compliments you? So if you are not a person that likes to go out to talk to users,
Hmm.
then get yourself a very introvert, extrovert person
Hmm.
that is just open and wants to talk, is able to network, and so on. So just always this complimentary doesn't mean he doesn't have he has to have studied something else,
Hmm.
because people might also be good co-founders if they both study computer science, but one wants to more pursue the business side of things, and one not. I mean, we've seen multiple very successful startups in this regard, but you need to have this separation of roles and trust in each other that he or she will also fulfill these tasks and roles in the company. Yeah, and for that, you probably also need to test it out, because people can also talk. And there's also a lot of people out there that tend to talk, but if it's really about showing up, they are not.
Yeah, that's the real truth. But
Yeah.
that's good to know. I think that will help a lot of people who are just trying to join this new world of startup, and I think that would be really helpful for them for sure. Cool. Then here we come to the end of this session, and thank you so
Oh
much.
no! You're welcome. Always nice to talk to you.
Thank
I
you so
enjoy it.
much
Like,
for.
I mean, I have to head out because my mom cooked
Mhm.
lunch,
Oh,
but
yeah, it's
but
late.
yeah, it's late for lunch, I know, but we are not very German when it comes to that.
Okay.
Breakfast is at 10 and lunch is at 3 and dinner is not at 6 but at 9. So we are really not German when it comes to that. We're more Italian in a way.
Oh,
Uh,
Sophia effect. Is it Sophia effect?
Yeah, this was already before, but Sophia and I tend to joke about it because she is very German in some ways, and
Mm,
then we joke about that I'm also very Italian in some ways, and we complement each other in the ways where we are not what we are originally from. So
that's a
this
nice
is
combo. But
yeah,
it's
yeah, I
also
mean,
some
maybe
mix,
that's
so.
how maybe that's how we work out. So that's why Sophia and I work well together. I also would just like to hear, okay, what is your motivation on doing this podcast now? Give it all you got.
Oh, okay. So yeah, actually, I have been a tech founder myself. So that's something I enjoyed a lot while doing it. But then I just stopped it after a year, and then I was like, I was having a lot of questions which I wanted to answer, but I was not able to answer them myself. So that's why this podcast is there to just grasp a lot of knowledge from different people working in different environments, different startups at different stages, to understand like what their answers are for these questions. So that was one of my motivation for us, and also like I didn't want it to stop my connection with startup. So having a
Yeah,
conversation with a startup founder is always interesting, and always some new things come out. So I think that was also one of the motivation, and I wanted to try something new. So that's my podcast. So,
yeah,
yeah.
and I mean that's beautiful. I think this is great, and I can also really relate to it. I mean, just to share that, I also thought for a little bit of starting a podcast to just talk to founders because I mean it is just interesting to
Hmm.
ask these questions and to have a reason to ask these questions because you say, hey, I'm doing this podcast. I know it's not big, but hey, I would like to ask you a few questions and maybe my audience is interested in the answers and I would love to pick your brain and it's beautiful. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. That's why I thought like it's a good time to start it. Just for me, maybe it is valuable for others as well, but it's just something which I wanted to bring as a value to myself and to other people as well. So, yeah.